And that Shabbos, because the yahrtzeit of Shlomo's father, Shlomo's mother was there for Shabbos.
Oh, wow.
So I met Rebbetzin Carlebach Senior.
When you were in scholar in residence at the
I was
Carlebach shul.
scholar resident at the Carlebach shul about a month ago, and
Recapping the news.
she was there for that Shabbos.
Did you get to go too?
Yes,
So
once
it's
a year.
special
They
atmosphere,
invite us
yeah.
for a long time already.
So,
Oh, good.
so, and I was thinking to myself, wow, now I'm gonna meet Shlomo's mother. So maybe it'll help me understand where where he comes from. I never met his parents ever. And then she, I was sitting right next to her, and she was telling all kinds of stories about her late husband and Shlomo.
You said she's about 97 now?
She's about 97, whatever, high 90s. I'm not sure what, but the high 90s, and totally with it, totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she was saying that her husband, Zechron Levracha, Shlomo's father, whenever he came into any room where there were Jews, he would go over to every single Jew and say Shalom Aleichem.
Wow. That shows he was very strong in Ahavas Yisrael.
Right.
Shlomo Carlebach was.
Right. So where did Shlomo get it from?
Oh.
He got it from his father.
That
But
is
Shlomo went
He
even
developed
further, of course.
further.
She told me this. She says, when we would go to a restaurant, and me, my husband, and the kids, so I always told my husband, we cannot sit in the back. We have to sit really at the front. Why? Because Shlomo's always late. So we'd be sitting there in the back, and Shlomo will come in. He'll never get to the back, because every person would go over, start Shalom Aleichem, and just talk and talk and talk to every single person without end. He would never get to the back. So we have to sit in the front, so Shlomo will come over to us and say Shalom Aleichem, and we'll sit him down. So what I learned from that was that her husband, Zechron Levracha, was a tremendous Ohev Yisrael, but he was within a certain limit. He would say Shalom Aleichem, but then he would move on and go sit down. Shlomo was without limits, but he began, from what he learned from his father, you have to say Shalom to every Jew, and then he loves Jews so much that he has to just keep on talking to them. So I saw that the apple, Shlomo, did fall near the tree. I mean, he went way beyond the tree, but it did start with something. He didn't come from no place. He came from something.
That was something very strong about him. It was really
his love of Jews was Yachid B'Doro, and maybe Yachid B'Doro Tav. In many generations, I don't know anybody could compare to him in that sense, that Ava. And so that was a really, really interesting how it begins with the father and the mother, and then it goes on. The kids, they take on a life of their own, but their roots are with us, with the parents. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
So that's just
really
the way
have
it
a
is.
strong impact.
And I say many times, my father and mother had a big impact on me. I moved on my own way, but at the root, there's a lot from my parents.
They deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah, I mean, whatever I'm doing, I give them credit because they gave me that, that basis.
I remember many years ago, you would talk about you kind of blended both Hasidism and Litvish, however you would say it, because you had from the Rav and everything.
Yeah, I think
But my father and mother are from the
time.
Hasidic world, and the Rav is the great Lithuanian yeshiva. So being a student of the Rav for 20 years and being a student of my parents for about 20 years, it blends, and that's why I do both. So I can write Sfarim of the Rav, and I write Sfarim on Hasidus, because it didn't come from no place.
And your wife's Rebbetzin Hasidah.
Yeah, that's right.
I come from a Litvish family.
I remember you said that you were Shalmi for 4 generations or something, right? Am I right?
Well,
something.
My mother sort of interrupted the chain, and it would have been 6 generations.
But it was a number of generations.
Many generations.
I remember that correctly? You were Shalmi?
And you were Shalmi.
My mother's side, her father had left Palestine and gone to Europe, so she was born there. But he himself was born in Yerushalayim. His mother was born in Yerushalayim, and her grandfather.
For anyone listening, the British Mandate of Palestine.
Yeah, the
British Mandate.
And my grandparents had Palestinian passports. On the passport it said Palestinian.
Something that actually did exist.
Jews were then the Palestinians.
There we go.
Arabs did not want to be called Palestinians. They were Arabs. Then they discovered later that
One more thing, if I could say, while wrapping this up, one thing.
I mean, I'm getting nervous.
Okay, we're gonna
when
go
you
soon.
started.
I remember how strongly Rav Reichman at the table you would defend if anybody tried to say something against Israel, and they talk about the three hashpaos, and you're like, it was an obscure Gemara. It was a mistake that the certain rabbi brought.
Okay, we
so
we
pro-Israel.
You know, I'm proud that I have a little piece of Jeremy because as
He
a Talmud,
remembers
as a
so
Rebbe,
much.
he
He remembers-
usually
he
remembers so
so
many
many
things that I said
But
that I
you don't
myself
remember.
don't remember
Right.
ever said
And
them.
I don't remember.
I didn't want to
And
mention which Rebbe the
so
person was referencing, but I remember which
he has
Rebbe.
captured so much of my lessons. It's amazing.
Scary.
I'm actually amazed. My wife always worries because she says, "Don't say so much because you'll be quoted and then you'll regret it." But